NBA Straya, how are you going? Hey, again. Are you good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it is Wednesday, Hump Day, June 24th. And the first round of the NBA draft is done. We had some trades. We had some fun stuff, a few swaps. We got a few, rumors still floating around. There's a lot to dig into. So, pretty good one. This is NBA Straya. I am your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios. We're going to do draft grades. Because we did winners and losers of, the Giannis trade yesterday. In the emergency Giannis trade show. That gets me every time. Mr. Prime Minister. Anyway, we've got this set up where we've done winners and losers. I just want to grade each of these picks, sort of contextualize them all a little bit. And that's kind of how we operate here on NBA Straya, right? I'm no draft Nick. I don't watch a giant amount of college basketball, but I do know the NBA inside and out. So we'll look at how they fit, what might happen with some of these players, and essentially what it might mean for the outlook of, those teams this coming next season, which is pretty fun. Tomorrow we'll do the second round and a bunch of the other sort of off-season questions and sort of look ahead because I reckon there'll be a little bit more movement. So I guess that'll be it today. So we'll go through all 30 first-round picks, do some draft grades, talk it all out, go through some other news, and be pretty fun. So let's get into it. Episode 1422 of NBA Straya. Let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack!
You better watch out for the attack of come over here and sit in my fake lounge room. Nothing sus. Jesus, that was weird. Better watch out for the attack of the overbearing superlatives. He is a great player. He is a dominant player. He is going to be a star. All right. I don't know how all fucking 30 picks in the NBA draft are the greatest players to ever play basketball, but here we are. Anyway, let's start today's show. Before we get into the draft stuff, there was a lot of news that popped off before the draft. There always is. We didn't have any crazy, trades or anything really, but we can still do the daily. Oh, it's a whipper out of the gym. Yes, of course it is. Hey, Portland hired a coach. That seems important, doesn't it? Yeah, Jim, it does. What's also apparently important to the Portland Trail Blazers owner? Saving some of these ones, the cash money. I have never seen a fucking coaching contract like this. It is essentially a 1-year deal for Micah Norai. Much valued assistant coach in a bunch of different places on a 1-year prove-it-to-me deal with a double-team option for years 2 and 3, to which you would probably just go, you know what? Get fucked. Right? I understand that there's only 30 of these head coaching gigs, but considering how little the Blazers were apparently reportedly looking to pay that coach, I feel like you might be able to turn some of this, head coaching gig interest into maybe a higher paying assistant role and then just going, fuck it. No, I'm good. Like the Blazers have a good roster. I get that, but fucking hell, a 1-year deal? You cheap fuckhead. Get fucked. Blazers fans are going to be absolutely ropeable. Anyway, Mike and Nora, I think it's a good call. I would have just kept Tiago Splitter and paid him like a fucking regular NBA head coach instead of trying to fucking pinch pennies like a dipshit. When you're a fucking billionaire. Oh, but Jim, he didn't get to be a billionaire by pinching pennies. You own a fucking sports team. Spend your money, you fuck. There's no next level. right? What are you going to do? Go to space with that fucking South African diamond mining fucking racist fuckhead? No. Go colonize Mars? Of course you're not. You bought a fucking sports team. Now spend some cash. Fuck me dead. You just won the fucking Stanley Cup. Anyway, so Portland have got a new head coach, Jaylen Brown. He didn't get traded. Jim, will he be a Boston Celtic by the start of next season? Yeah, nah. Yeah, I think he will be. Hear me out. I do think they, once you put someone of the ilk of Jaylen Brown's name out in trade rumours, it is very hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube. At the same time, unless you're sort of like getting a bit of a haul from someone like New Orleans, where you get multiple players at positions of need in return for a Jaylen Brown, or, Portland, or, I don't know, Denver. Some of these teams that you go, ooh, maybe we can send him there. I don't know. What raises your ceiling more? I'd rather just fucking keep him and go, Jaylen, can you just fucking pull your head in? Jason, can you also just stop being a fucking weirdo? I would just like take them both and like, I don't know. This might be a reflection of me as a manager. Take them both to the pub, and if we get into a punch-on, we're trading one ears. If we can go to the pub, sink a million tins, not have a punch-on, talk all this shit out, guess what? You might win the fucking title next year. However, having watched Wemby, SGA, all these sorts of dudes, I don't know, you got a bit of work to do, Boston, but at the same time, I'd rather just fucking keep Jaylen Brown. There's not a giant amount of players out there better than him. And I understand that you're going to be right up against it in terms of cash. But again, this is the same fucking thing. Stop crying about owners' money. I don't give a fuck. It's their money, not mine. So anyway, Jaylen Brown, I'd rather just keep him and just go, Jason, Jaylen, you guys are fucking fine. Just everybody pump the brakes, chill. We won the title 2 years ago. Everybody fucking relax. So, anyway, but yeah, it's going to be tough. He'll probably still get traded. Trey Murphy apparently wants out. He's like, I want to go spend my time somewhere else that isn't New Orleans, which is, I mean, not many other people say that, but as a basketball player, I can get that because it doesn't seem great. Here's an interesting one, though, in return for Jaylen Brown, possibly. You know, if you can get a Herb Jones or if you get an Eves Missy, basically, you know, get a little bit more depth into that Boston team around Tatum and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard and co, possibly. But Jaylen Brown's really good. Anyway, so Trey Murphy wants out. DeMar DeRozan there. DeMar DeRozan. The Sacramento Kings were not able to trade DeMar DeRozan and his $25 million expiring contract. It's only guaranteed for $10 million next year, so they're looking to stretch and waive it possibly over the next 3 seasons. Just one more sterling example of the incredible decision-making of the Sacramento Kings franchise. Just all round amazing. Like, I think we need to give them, like, should we just give them a quick hand? Yeah, I think so. Just, you've got to salute them at some point. That's just remarkable. DeRozan's an interesting one. I think, you know, he'll go out, be a free agent all of a sudden, mid-level exception, anybody. Clippers. He's from LA. I think he'd finally be very, very happy to end up playing in LA. So DeMar DeRozan there. Detroit is another interesting one for DeMar. But how about, you know, they're also kicking the tires on Norm Powell, because it looks like the Miami Heat, after trading everything to go get Giannis, have now got no money left. No cash here, chop, no cash. No cash here, chop. The Pistons are like, well, we'll fucking just jump in and try to steal Norm. This is great. And I kind of agree. He's the exact sort of release valve for Cade that you'd fucking love to have on that team, wouldn't you? So, yeah, Norm Powell, Detroit, bit of a front runner there. Love that. Get him in. And the last one is Kawhi. The fun guy and the Clippers are about to have a chat about his future with teams monitoring his availability, which is kind of fun. They didn't think there was going to be sort of anything built around this draft when it came to Kawhi. And after they took Wagler, I don't know, you can sort of see the future where it's like, maybe this just, you know, roll this out for another year and see how you go. But at the same time, this is Kawhi's most healthy season he's just had. He didn't even make the fucking playoffs. I tried to get rid of him while I could, because he's also a weird dude. But anyway, and that was like, there was a lot of scuttlebutt, obviously, before the draft. No trades really sort of take place outside of the Julius Randle one. Then during the draft, we got a few sort of swaps and stuff. My favorite out of them was Memphis going back 5 spots and getting 5 second rounders to do that. And still basically probably getting the guy that they wanted at 16, at 21. They traded the 16th pick to OKC for the 17th pick and two second rounders. OKC then took Sturts. Then they traded the 17th pick to the Pistons for 3 second rounders. Detroit used the 17th to take Ibuka Okori. And then at 21, they just take Karim Lopez, the Mexican sensation, the New Zealand Breakers' very own. So, yeah, good job, Memphis. I thought that was pretty good. But before we do the draft and break it all down and talk it all out, this shouldn't be so fucking hard, right? Like, the broadcast of the draft is the endearing memory, right, of the draft. It is for these players, it is for these teams, it is for the fans. How in utter bugfuck we have still not gotten, oh, this pick has been traded to this team. Oh, no, he still has to wear the hat of the other team because we haven't ratified the trade. Just fucking let him do it, right? What's the downside? Oh, we actually rescinded the trade. It has never fucking happened apart from the Chris Paul trade. And like the Tyson Chandler fucking failed medical, like one other failed medical and all. Like, nah. Mark Williams, anybody? Dalton Connect was a Charlotte Hornet. There you go. There's like 4 examples ever. Anyway, this entire fucking, the pick has been traded, but we're still going to pretend that this team is making this pick of this player is so fucking dumb. It is so fucking brutal. It's so stupid. Like 18 picks in this first round changed hands. 10 of them showed the wrong team because the pick had just been traded as well. And in tomorrow's second round, 4 teams still have their own fucking pick. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. But Jim, what's the easy solution? Just doing it. The NFL do this perfectly. Like, they don't then go, oh shit, well, I understand that you've got the second pick and you've just traded, like, you just traded it away and then this team have got it, but we're going to make you go out there and pretend like you took this guy. No. They just go, oh yeah, cool, you guys are trading? Sick. All right, so we'll put the graphic up that it's this guy now. It's fucking easy as that. Oh, but the new year doesn't start till next year and they can't ratify. I don't fucking care. We just need to fix this shit. My entire thing, though, as well, about the draft pick swapping hands to this degree and how silly it is. One of the long-held Outback Takehouses on NBA Straya has been stealing Santa rules for draft picks, where you can trade a draft pick maximum of twice. That's it. So you've got to think long and fucking hard before you trade a pick away. The team getting that pick has to think long and hard about that because they can't trade it again until the player is selected. That would maybe sort of stymie the fucking sheer number of picks fucking swirling around where during the broadcast you're like, so who's making this fucking pick? Adam Silver doesn't know. The broadcaster's pretending like they don't know. The broadcaster pretending like they don't know the pick is, you know, who it is, but while they've got the cameras set up right in front of the player who it's going to be. It's all a bit of a fucking shit show at the moment. Then on top of that, you got the weird fucking fake lounge room. That was fucking weird. You got some weird dude in a red pimp hat going, so tell me about your fucking, like, what you're wearing. Oh, isn't that cool? It's like, who the fuck is this for? Oh, Jim, it's for the ladies. Is it? It's just, it was some of the most uncomfortable, stupid fucking shit you'll ever see. Anyway, the trading picks thing, though, just fucking gets me every time because the NFL has this sorted. They go, oh, this pick has been traded pending approval to this team, so they're making this pick. Easy, done, fucking lock it away, right? Instead, you got Adam Silver walking out there an hour after some picks being thrown and going, hey, remember the pick that happened at number 12? That is part of a trade that has now happened, and that pick is probably going to this team now instead of the other team. And you're like, shit, I don't remember 2 picks ago, let alone fucking 8 picks ago, Adam. What are you doing? This is fucking stupid. Fix it. It's the easiest fix in the world. Just do it. The repercussions are exactly 0. Just fucking do it. Right. All right, so there you go. That's some good stuff. Let's do it. Let's do the draft and break it all down and give out some draft grades. Basketball, give me the ball because we're gonna draft it. Yeah, that's right, the NBA draft. As I always say, one of my 3 favorite days of the year. Opening day, the draft lottery, the draft. I love the pomp, the circumstance, the fun silliness of it all. I don't like the red pimp hat guy asking, what do you like, scrambled eggs or boiled eggs? And you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why is there a fake lounge room in Barclays with some books on a coffee table? No one's reading those books. What are we doing? Jeez. Anyway, the draft. It was kind of weird. I think we went to, was it 3 or 4 drafts at Barclays? It was amazing. It was very fun being there in person, but it's even more confusing for the people in the arena. And you saw it today again, right? You've got the massive hullabaloo around the Knicks draft pick. You're 2026 NBA champions. There's a whole bunch of shit. All the Knicks fans are going crazy. And then they trade the pick to, like, the pick behind them to the Lakers. You got Spike Lee there with a fucking NBA, like the Larry O'Brien. And they've traded the pick. Just, fuck me, mate. It's just, this shouldn't be so difficult. It shouldn't be. Anyway, I do love the draft. So, reminder that Pacers and Portland didn't have picks. Cleveland traded out of the first round, so did Denver. The Knicks had a bit of a draft and stash in there as well. It's interesting to sort of see how the cap dynamics sort of work on some of these teams as well that are right up against the cap. Obviously, with the Thunder having some big decisions to make about Dort and Hartenstein as well, they actually, traded up, albeit like, one spot, but took 2 players that presumably will play for them. So it's important sort of stuff. Anyway, let's do some draft grades. All right, let's recap this entire draft and we'll give away some grades. Shall we start at the top with your Washington Wizards? The Washington Wizards are on the clock. The pick is AJ Dybansta. The pick was apparently always AJ Dybansta, which has got to be pretty interesting news for Darren Peterson. He's like, hey, man, you're the only team I worked out for. And they're like, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty cool that you came by. But we're good. So we talked about this heading into it, and I'll sort of like rehash what we sort of talked about in terms of team needs and how this sort of fits into their overall grade. They needed a superstar guard or wing. They have Trae Young, they have Anthony Davis, they've got a slew of younger dudes as well. Dybansta fits so fucking perfectly on this team. He's exactly what they need. This gets an instant A+ for me. It remains to be seen, like if Peterson hits his ceiling, I don't know if it's like a higher ceiling than Dybansta. And in some ways it might be, but there's enough queries and qualms around Peterson that you just go, yeah, I'm taking Dybansta. Right? Let's fucking go. So you think about the fit on that team when you've already got Trae and AD, but the likes of Alexander Sarr, Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, Bilal Coulibaly, like a bunch of young dudes, like Trey Johnson as well, right? You throw Dybansta in there, he doesn't have to do absolutely fucking everything. He's in that sort of position that Cooper Flagg was on last year when he got drafted to Dallas. Unfortunately, Dallas fucked it up and just traded away Anthony Davis for a bag of chips because they're morons. But by the same token, like the idealistic situation of having Flagg next to Kyrie and next to AD means that he doesn't have to do everything. But with AD just fucked, always injured, and then Kyrie obviously not playing either, yeah, it meant Cooper Flagg had to do everything. Dybansta's probably in a better situation and where he can sort of like learn on the job, but doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. A+ for me. Love the pick for the Wiz. They need that cornerstone, right? Like Trae Young, it's great, but he's not your homegrown dude. You got him from Atlanta. It cost fuck all, whatever. Anthony Davis seemingly doesn't really want to be there anyway, but still, maybe he does once he sees AJ, hangs out, and off they go. So good luck. Love that. Well done. A+. Number 2, Utah. They take Darren Peterson, and I talked this out the other day. I think their need was like a star guard, I thought, or a star wing. Like, it didn't really bother me about like whether it was Dybansta or Peterson. I didn't like the Boozer chatter. I thought that was fucking strange. I thought the fit was fucking weird. And Peterson, at least, I think, yeah, the combo of like he and Keontae George, Ace Bailey, like I think I fucking love it. There's people go, oh, it's not as a nice fit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Boozer next to Triple J, Larry Markkinen, like Walker Kessler is fucking nicer. Hell no. Peterson might be an absolute weapon gun that you can roll out there, have the highest ceiling of anybody in this draft, turn into a super duper star, the likes you might not have had ever there in Utah. What, apart from maybe Karl Malone, but even Karl Malone said that Karl Malone wasn't that good, right? He never won a fucking title. Peterson, if he's just like got a hint of that fucking absolute like takeover, dominant scoring guard vibe next to that front court, it could be absolutely fucking perfect. Keontae George as well. He's coming along very nicely. Ace Bailey as well. I just fucking love it. I think the star guard vibe is absolutely bang on for Utah. I love this as well. I'll give this an A+ because they probably got the guy who ought to have been the number 1 pick, but instead had a couple of like the queries and qualms. They get him at number 2. I feel like it works really, really well for their team. A+. Memphis. They got Boozer. Cameron Boozer, son of my good friend Carlos. I said in the lead up to this, I love it because it doesn't really matter if they have Peterson drop to them or they get Cam Boozer. It means they can do what the fuck they want with Ja under zero sort of pressure. They can keep him, etc. But having Boozer next to Edie straight away makes me go, hello. This is fucking fun. Cedric Coward as well. If you just keep Ja, who knows what could fucking happen here. Like, it's very, very, very fun. Love this for Memphis. I have to give it an A+ as well because I just love the fit. I think he'll be instantly massive. I think we had Double Dummy asking on the live stream that we did during the thing, out of like the top 4 picks, who's going to be like the most valuable for Supercoach? And I think it's Boozer. I think the rebounding translates. I think his assists translate. I think his scoring translate. I think he gets plenty of opportunity to shine. And I very much like him on Memphis. He's going to be a fucking stud for the Grizz. And so that was an A+. And Chicago, out of all the available top 4, they get an A+ as well just for taking Caleb Wilson and not getting ahead of their skis. A big wing who can like play, shoot, is athletic as fuck, can do everything. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't like their next pick, but I'll get to that later. But if Boozer had to fall into them, if they get Caleb Wilson, I didn't mind, right? Caleb Wilson, I think, is fantastic. A great running mate for Buzelis and for Giddey. And the fact that they traded for your man Nick Claxton yesterday, is huge. Because now they've got like a massively rangy, fucking like long-ass front court to put next to Gids and whatever draft, like whatever sort of guards they actually do bring back, right? Anthony Simons is a free agent. You've still got the sex man floating around. Trey Jones is still there next to Gids. If you can just throw a bunch of shooting on that team, it's awesome. Caleb Wilson could be a fucking star. He could be absolute vibes there in Chicago, right? I love it. As long as you fuck off Patch Williams, please. Or as I called him on the live stream, Patch Adams. But Patch Williams has got to go. Caleb Wilson, I love him. A+. All right. We also nailed the order of the top 4 on the preview show as well. So that was pretty good. So all A+ for me at that point, because mostly due to where they took the guy and what they needed, it all kind of fit really fucking nicely. Number 5, the LA Clippers select Michael Keaton-Wagler. Batman. Alex P. Keaton-Wagler? We tried a couple of these out on the live stream. They needed a bigger guard to put next to Garland, and they got one, right? So I had Braden Burries in the our mock draft on Monday, and most of that was around the simple idea that they fucking apparently loved him more than anything. That could have been a smokescreen, whatever. And it seems like cooler heads prevailed and went, right, next to our little Darius Garland, who's like, 6'1", we just need like a bigger, rangier guard. We can play with him, and away we go. And Keaton Wagler's that dude. Michael Keaton Wagler is like 6'5". He's a bigger guard. He can shoot the piss out of it. He can dribble, can create, can do a bit of everything. I'll give this a flat A because for the simple idea, like they could have fucked this up and they didn't. Like Burries or Wagler were the two picks that I liked here the most. And I very, very, very much enjoyed it. So Wagler, that's an A for me for the Clippers. I really like his fit next to Garland. And then you sort of go, well, you know, you've got Kawhi there, you've got Niederhauser, hello, and a bunch of other dudes still floating around. I just like the Wagler. Keaton Wagler, good stuff. Brooklyn at 6. They take Michael Brown Jr. Oh, jeez. That's interesting, isn't it, Jim? It was interesting. And for them, I'm going to give them a B-. I think he had a weird year at Louisville. He wasn't the best shooter. He's a slightly bigger version of some of Acuff or whatever. And then you've got a few other ones sort of floating around, like all those other guards like Burries and I think Kingston Flemings. He's like slightly bigger than those dudes, right? I think the thing about Michael Brown Jr. is you got to hope that he becomes like your Dame Lillard kind of. That is a dude who just fucking likes being like a slightly taller Dame Lillard. And as I said, Dame Lillard in 2012 with the Nets pick goes to Portland because they didn't protect it because Bobby King's a moron. Billy King, not Bobby King. Billy King was a moron. They only like 3 players in this draft anyway, so I'm not going to protect the pick after top 3. It was 6, and they got Dame Lillard with Brooklyn's pick. If he can be Dame, cool, obviously. That's very, very good. He's got extremely high upside. He loves the shooting, and he loves to have a crack, right? He loves to have a fucking shot. And a lot of them are coming off the dribble, so it's a lot of self-creation. When you've got 47 point guards already on your roster and you've already now got Julius Randle and Michael Porter Jr. in your team, the Nets have to fucking trade those dudes because, you have to be really fucking good to take the shots and make the shots at a rate that'll actually sort of allow you to be the star that the Nets hopefully they got. So I'm giving it, what did I say, C+? B-. I'll give it a B- because I can see the outline of what he's doing, but at the same time, you sort of hope that he can play next to Gordon and Traore and co. I just don't know about it. It felt a little bit of a reach. At the same time, he is bigger than Acuff and Kingston and whatever. So we'll give it a B-. Number 7, the Sacramento Kings. They get Acuff. So weapon of a scorer, a little bit of a small fella, can shoot the piss out of it. And what I said on the mock draft was they just need a direction. It's funny that they kind of already have Malik Monk and they just went and got maybe possibly new Malik Monk. Right, it kind of feels a little bit like that with Acuff, but he does have like at least you can see the upside where you're like, ooh, he could be a fucking star. He really could be. The tricky part is he's on Sacramento. So good luck with that. I will give this, I think because they wanted the dude and they got him, I'll still give it like a B+. For the simple idea that his dad played for like the GM of the Kings, right? In college, which is pretty funny. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see what they do with this, the Kings, and how they sort of finagle this with like Levine and the Souvlaki King. You sort of wonder if like Acuff will be okay or like without the ball sometimes. We'll see what happens. I'll give it a B+. It's pretty funny. Kingston Flemings goes 8 to the Atlanta Hawks. It's not a bad pick. I'll give it a B. I think when you've got CJ McCollum on that 1-year deal, you're sort of hoping that Kingston Flemings just becomes the CJ McCollum replacement in like a year or two. So it's fine, right? And we know that he can light it up. You sort of look at him and go, all right, what's he going to do? Like when you've got our man Dyson Daniels as well next to him too as like the really big supersized point guard who doesn't do, too much of the, distribution stuff or the scoring stuff. He does everything else. Whereas Kingston Flemings is just going to be the water bug scorer dude, and he's like a badass. So I kind of like it, but you also have that moment of like, all right, he is a bit on the smaller side, but he's going to be very interesting. I like him a lot. I'll give him the B because it's sort of like a to be determined, really, for me with Atlanta and your man Kingston Flemings. At 9, the Dallas Mavericks with new head coach Dusty May go and take his old mate from his Michigan Wolverines, Morez Johnson. Big 6'9", sophomore forward. Don't know if I like this one that much. With Burries right there and Dallas going, Kyrie's coming off an ACL and we don't have any other guards that aren't like Ryan Nembhard. I'll give this a B- as well because I can see how essentially they're sitting there going, we now have like an actual rangy 4 to put next to like Dan Gafford and Derek Lively that is a bit bigger than your sort of combo of Najee Marshall and PJ Hamilton Washington. Like you've actually got a proper 4 with like, but Flag's massive as well. I preferred the idea of a guard that you can at least just pair with Flag, and the fact that they traded away pick 30 as well and didn't take his mate from his old Duke team, Isaiah Evans, just a bit of a weird one. But anyway, they do get Morez Smalls Johnson. I think this is like them sort of looking at this with one eye on the rest of the West, going Cooper Flag's development is going to be really interesting. Also, we've got Dusty May, and we'll see if Flag can also be a really decent ball handler next to Kyrie. Maybe we don't need another guard. Maybe we need to have like a decent defensive 4 who can like help on that end. And if that's the case, then I'm okay with it. But yeah, it still gets a B- because I would have preferred Burries in that spot. Speaking of which, the Bucks at number 10 take Burries. And I don't like this that much because they've already got 47 fucking guards. So I'm going to give this a B because I like Burries in a vacuum. Braden Burries can sort of do a little bit of everything. You can sort of just throw him out there and you're like, you look at the defense, you look at the offense, you're like, ooh, don't mind it. I don't know if I like it for Milwaukee, however. But when they paired it with Nate Amen at 13, it makes a little bit more sense because Burries might not have dropped to 13. They didn't jump on Amen at 10. So in terms of like a value pick, yeah, we'll give it a B. But when you've already got KPJ, you've already got Tyler, there goes my hero for the moment, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Yakachunas, like fucking hell, man. And then you've just added another guy. All right. But still, this is one thing that the Bucks have not really had the last few years is depth. Now they've got a bit of it. So I'll give that a B. Yaxel Lenderborg, apparently Joe Lacob, and we saw the video of Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. having a bit of a teet-a-teet about this pick. They go and take Yaxel Lenderborg from Michigan. He's going to be, 42 years old before he starts. He went back to college after, a 20-year career out in media. I don't know. He is the ready-to-play guy that you can put on Golden State. He'll be 24 by this time the season starts. Put him next to Steph. Put him next to Draymond. He can do a little bit of everything. They fucking bang on about how he's a winning player. He's a winning player. Catch and shoot threes, defense, 1 through 4 on D. Like, yeah, it's a great fit. I just wish he sort of did like one or two more like things better. But it's a really good fit because he's very, 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 very solid. B+ for me for the Warriors. Number 12, OKC take Adai Mara, the big fella. We talked about this on Monday's show. We nailed 11 and 12 as well in our mock draft, FYI. But Mara is an interesting one because he's like fucking massive, 7'3", can shoot it a little bit, and it's your Hartenstein insurance, right? Like you bring back Hartenstein for a year or two, like whatever you can figure out with his contract. You've got Chet, you've got Hartenstein. Mara eventually replaces probably Hartenstein. And I'm okay with it, right? Like it's kind of when they moved Wiggins, they get Mara, they've got another shooter in the draft coming up. If there's no S'mores Johnson here for OKC, like the decision was, I guess, maybe Nate Ament here. I don't know if that would have worked out great on OKC. They sort of needed a bigger wing and they didn't really walk away with this, but I don't know, because you've got, I guess their only sort of thing is that Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, all kind of smallish. AJ Mitchell isn't massive either. SGA is still pretty fucking big for his spot. J-Dub is pretty good. Yeah, that's the only sort of thing that they lack is like that bigger, massive, like 6'9", 3-4 switchable wing, but that's all right. I like Mara as a big backup big who could eventually take the Hartenstein spot and start right next to Chet. Who knows? Just imagine that. You got Chet and Mara up against Wemby. It's like, what's it like having one giant freak on your team? What's better than that? 2. Number 13, the Bucks take Nate Ament finally. He was a bit of a strange one. I think his development this year in, was it Tennessee, wasn't he? Wasn't what everyone expected. I like the roll of the dice though. So I'll give this a B. Because like they got to wait until 13. They basically pair a guard with a big wing and they go, we're throwing darts at this point in Milwaukee. That's why, when you've got 2 picks, I'm okay with it. So I'll give it a B. I'm okay with that. And I think the one that I was talking about was the next pick as well. Hannes Steinbach. And I feel like Ament probably has a little bit more upside than your man Hannes. But yeah, so I'll give that a B. Whereas for the Hornets at 14, taking Steinbach, I loved it. A- for me. Great spot. You've already got Diabate. You've already got Kalkbrenner. But Steinbach's got a little bit of extra shit to his game. So it'd be interesting to see how that fits on the Hornets, who are very, very, very fun. It's going to be really fucking crazy, right? He's just going to be absolutely like chaos. He's just going to go a little bit of something, and his rebounding will be massive. Good spot. And like this is them not having to trade for the Suvlaki King Domantas Sabonis now. So, you used your pick. You're not fucking giving up assets to go get a bloke who, I don't know. I'd rather have, Hannes Steinbach on a fucking rookie contract than probably the Suva on Charlotte. So, yeah. What did I say? A-. Yeah, good stuff. 15. Chicago take Dalen Swan. It's like, give us a slightly smaller Patch Williams. Nah. But he could be a star. Like that's kind of the thing. He's like that good. And he can do a little bit of everything really, really well, except maybe really the shot is not great. Right? But athletic, pretty chaos. Don't mind it. Pretty fun. But just reminds me way too much of Patch. It's slightly smaller. I would have much preferred a shooter on that spot. I'm going to give this a C+. I'll just give it a flat C. It's a passing grade. It's fine. I just, like defensively maybe, he's like 6'7". He can get up and about. I just wish he could shoot it fucking better. Anyway, 16, speaking of shooting, they get Bennett Sturts at 16 to OKC. I didn't really like that one this much. Like he's just... White guy shooter is like, what, 6'2" and a bit, 6'3". He's like kind of built can shoot the piss out of it. He's older. What is he? Because he was like a Div 2 kind of kid. He's also super white and went to Iowa. So, yeah, he fits OKC like a fucking glove. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know so much about that one. What did I say? C. He could shoot the piss out of it, but I don't know. He's fine. 17, Ibuka Okori goes to the Detroit basketballing Pistons. Because 16 was owned by Memphis. They traded back. And then, obviously, with OKC, who are at 17, Memphis then traded back from 17 to 21 with Detroit. Detroit take Ibuka Okori, which it's like almost a bit of a TBD on this one because he's a pretty small guard, dude out of Stanford. But again, like he's just a little bit small. That's the only problem. But he could be a really fucking fun scoring weapon for this Pistons team that kind of needs it off the bench, right? You sort of looked at what they did this offseason or during this season, right? And you're like, oh, we need a bucket. And you look at the bench and you're like, oh, yeah, go get him, Karras. And I don't know, Ibuka Okori just sort of gives you like a few more options in that regard where it sort of got to the pointy end of the season. Like, obviously, I'd prefer to have Norm Powell on this team at some point, but the sort of the backups when you've already got like Kevin Huerter, stuff like Dennis Jenkins. You're just adding a couple more, I don't know, arrows to your quiver, I think, with Detroit and that pick. Just wish he was a little bit bigger. Also kind of really wish, I think, what do we have on Monday? I think we had them picking, was it Cameron Carr at 21. I still kind of wouldn't have minded just him on this team. Ibuka Okori, it's like, all right. It's like, we've already got Dennis Jenkins. Are we going to sort of just do that again? All right. So what am I going to grade that? I'll give that a C as well. It's a passing one. Christian Anderson goes to the Hornets at 18. This one was pretty interesting. Like, crazy sort of, creator, the pick and roll sort of dude. He can pull up a bit of it, and off you go. He's also pretty small. It feels like this is like, you've already got Kobe White. I guess this is his understudy. So we'll give that a B. I think it's pretty good. I would have preferred someone bigger. Like they've already got our man Josh Green in green. They probably needed like another sort of slightly bigger wing so you could piss Miles Bridges off. But at the same time, a couple more scoring guards. Fuck yeah. Run and gun Charlotte, why not? 19, the Toronto Raptors. They get Alan Graves, and he's like this sneaky, excellent kind of like, ooh, look out. From Santa Clara. What was he, the sixth man of the year? He's like 6'7". 6'7". He is a really interesting dude, right? And I think if you sort of look at the way he sort of like, I don't know, basically looks out across his career. I think on Toronto it's pretty funny because he's like just a big rangy wing who can shoot it a bit. We're not entirely sure how well. He can rebound, he can score, he can do a little bit of everything. And you're like, all right, I think we've already got like 4 of them on Toronto. But I love it. I think it's a sneakily good pick. I'm going to give that an A- because I think they probably like, if we had to switch these and Alan Graves had gone to Charlotte, I think that's an A. And if the Raptors got Christian Anderson, I'd also be okay with that. Or if they got Carr. But the Graves, look, I think it's a pretty solid one. And if his shooting comes along, it's okay. So I'll give that an A- as well because I kind of really like him. San Antonio at 20. They take Jaden Quaintance, who I also talked about on Monday as a spot for him. Big tough guy next to Wemby. They can slow roll his comeback from his ACL that gave him problems through his season this year. I loved it because it's the Spurs just sort of like having a roll of the dice and going, yeah, we'll get a tough guy next to Wemby. He might not play this year, but we'll get one eventually. So that's pretty good. Like super talented. And the weird part is, I guess for this, is that San Antonio are in win now mode as well. So as much as they can slow roll his development, they kind of do need someone who can come out and play right now. But that was the exact sort of spot that they needed help in, right? Like a really big, burly-ish wing forward that they can sort of throw out there. Next to Wemby, you can go out and get some boards and cause some havoc. So, yeah, like that one for the Spurs. That's an A for me. Karim Lopez goes to the Memphis Grizzlies at 21. Yeah, this is like a pretty solid one for me because I think with all the talent that Memphis have got, with Cedric Coward and obviously you take Boozer and I love Lopez on that team. They can sort of just like get him up to speed in the NBA after a couple of seasons in the NBL where he came along very, very nicely. I love that landing spot for him in Memphis. They've got a million dudes. We get that. But he's good enough to sort of carve out some playing time. And I think his sort of top end talent is really, really fun. So I'll give that probably for where he got picked. Give that an A easily. 22, Philly. They get LeBaron Philon. Like this a lot too. Just a really good spot for Philon and for, I mean, it's exactly what Philly need, right? Like, I think that's fucking great. Like another sort of wing guard that they can put on the court next to Maxey or next to VJ if they're resting Maxey and they don't drop off too fucking crazy. I like it. I really, really, really thought that Philon would go a little bit earlier than this, so I think it's a really good snag. I'll give that an A for the Sixers. He doesn't really, because I mean, I wanted like a bigger wing, I guess, for the Sixers because outside of the Kelly Oubre, Paul George stuff, it's fucking pretty bare there. But Philon as well just gives them some fun scoring as he sort of, develops and gets better and better and better. I like that. LeBaron Philon. Let's go. 40% shooting from three, 22 points a game on Alabama. Love that for Philly. Atlanta at 23 take Zuby Ejiofor. This is a bit of a weird one. They do need size. They took, what was it, Asa Newell last year. They've already got our man Jock. They've got Onyeka Okongwu. I don't know if he's big enough, right? You've already got sort of Asa Newell and that sort of weird, big-ish kind of dude vibe. I would have gone taller because even Jock isn't fucking gigantic. Onyeka Okongwu isn't gigantic. I think you kind of maybe need that one giant fucking dude. I'm going to give this, I mean, yeah. I was kind of like whichever big is left, and there's a couple there like Taris Reed, Sinak. Like I probably would have gone either of those, so I don't like that one that much for Atlanta. I'll give that a C-, right? I feel like you've already got this weird glut of quasi-bigs. You need an actual big. 24, the Lakers. The Lakers trade up to get this one from New York, and they take Cameron Carr, which I fucking loved, and I'm so angry that he went to the fucking Lakers because he's the exact sort of dude, right, that you go, yep, that's it. So Cameron Carr, that is an A for me for the Lakers because he's just out of Baylor, can shoot the shit out of it. Hell yeah. Crushed it. Bang. So yeah, good job by him. Not bad. Good size. Yeah, that was very, very smart in the end, I thought. Right. And then we also had a weird trade, right? So 25 was the Knicks. And they took your man Sergio Della That is now the Dallas Mavericks. So this is something that's sort of only just come across since we started doing all this. So the Knicks end up with like a bunch of second rounders rather than this one. And that, the 25, and we talked about this at the start, the 25 would have counted against their salary cap this year. Instead, they pissed that off. So Sergio Della goes to Dallas. Phoenix gets Pete at 30. And yeah, the Knicks have now got second rounders coming out of the fucking wazoo. So pretty crazy. Bit of a weird one. But anyway, for Dallas and getting Sergio Della I like that a little bit more because now suddenly you got a bit more shooting and a little bit more crazy fun shit. You sort of think about him next to like Cooper Flagg, next to Kyrie. Yeah, it got a little bit more fun. Don't know who's going to, defensively how he's going to go, but I will give that for Dallas sort of popping up there and getting in another sort of interesting prospect who can sort of shoot it a bit, and off we go. Is playing pretty awesomely at the moment as well out there in Euro basket, right? Yeah, Sergio De La Rey. Let's give that an A-. Good job, Dallas. Hell yeah. 26, San Antonio. They trade up from the second round with Denver for pick 35 and a Sacramento second rounder and a 2028 second rounder. San Antonio, after going, we'll take Quaitons, they also went and got another big. So, boom. This is why I love this pick. This is an A for me. Tarris Reed Jr. crushed it. Makes a bit more sense. They get a big dude that they can play with Wemby at times if needed, or just basically as a bit of a backup. Just basically getting tough dudes I'm okay with, right? And that's essentially what they got. So, if you look at San Antonio and the way that they sort of go about these things, they know what they're doing, obviously. Getting Tarris Reed Jr. I mean, he's a dude who can just fucking pound you on the inside. He's not going to go out and shoot threes, but maybe that just works next to Wemby anyway. If you throw out a big dude next to Wemby at points, but it's pretty good because with Quainton sort of missing, probably big chunks of time next year with that knee, they get to throw another big dude out there. Kind of like that. You got front court depth all of a sudden. Love that. You've got Carter Bryant sort of coming along as like your sort of awesome, massive wing too. Love that for the Spurs. We'll give that an A, Tarris Reed Jr. Boston get Chris Sanak Jr. at 27. Wasn't quite as like enamored, but I mean, we did talk about they need big depth. And the big problem was like there was some pretty interesting names still there at this point, I think, for Boston that I would have preferred, right? Like you think about Isaiah Evans, and I'm like, ooh, he'd be fucking exactly kind of ideal next to the dudes there on Boston. Especially when you think about, if Peyton Pritchard's having a shit shooting night, Sam Hauser can't hit anything. Just get in there. Get in there, son. But they get another big Chris Sanak Jr. That's, it's fine. Big dude out of Houston. He's sort of, he's a bit of a project big man. You've already got a couple of bigs there. You can sort of slow this a bit. Celtics will develop him. Just don't know if that was exactly the right dude. So I'll give it a bit of a B. Brooklyn get this pick from Minnesota in exchange for taking on Julius Randle's salary, and they give them pick 33 in the second rounder. In the second round, Joshua Jefferson they take, and I guess like he's basically slow-mo Kyle Anderson 2.0. It fits a bit of a need for Brooklyn because they've got 87 million fucking wings. They did also trade Nick Claxton, so they've suddenly, all of a sudden, not got a giant amount of size. But when you've got Randall and you've got MPJ, you probably didn't need another 6'9" wing dude that much. You probably could have rolled the dice on a Visar or, one of the other sort of bigs floating around at this point. But Jefferson, look, I guess he can play make a bit. He can be very solid. He's an older dude. Again, left kind of like from Brooklyn. So I'll give that a C+ as well. Probably could have used some size. Alex Caravan is taken at 29 by Sacramento, which I thought was pretty funny. Obviously a winning player. He's a winning player, Jim. Yes, we get that. Is he going to be that good though? Is he going to be good on Sacramento, though? I guess this is the entire thing. Like, what did he go? He went to like 3 Final Fours in 4 years or whatever at UConn. Absolute winner. Sacramento probably do just need fucking cultured dudes on this team, and I think he's a really, really good one. But they also need dudes who can play. And I think there's a couple of names after that are still floating around that I would have taken ahead of Caravan. So, in classic Sacramento fashion, probably works out well for them, but for me, I'd be like, oh, God, if we weren't the Kings, would we have taken him here? Probably not. So C for me. And then finally, Phoenix get this pick from Dallas, pick 30. Mavs got 47 and 2 second rounders as well. And Phoenix took Koa Pete at 30, which is, don't know. Don't mind it. So the shooting stuff was a bit weird, but he is a fucking tough dude, and I think Phoenix would be a pretty good spot for him. So let's give that a bit of a B+. I still kind of think I would have preferred a bit more shooting on that Suns team. So maybe someone like Evans or even another big, right? Because I don't have a giant amount of size on Phoenix. So Vsar's still out there. Yeah, let's give it a B-. Koa Pete. Gives them some more toughness, a little bit more interior fucking bulk, which I guess is all right if you're Phoenix. But yeah, there you go. So we can also grade the broadcast. Malika, Billis, Straya, Bobby, Legs. That was pretty fun. The other one was Richard Jefferson and Jay Williams. And yeah, I sort of flipped between two. I'm like, that fucking sucks. I'm out of here. You had John Fanta in 3D in the breaks. Johnny Fanta is just, I don't know, man. It's just a little bit too American, if you know what I mean. It's like a little bit, all right, fucking Jesus. The fake lounge room. Melanie with her big-ass forehead. That other fucking chick, Ellie. The fuck was she doing? The amount of times she said cootie patootie, I just wanted to punch the fucking telly in. You had Frenchie with a red pimp hat. That was just that was fucking weird. I don't know who that was for. So you're sort of going back and forth between the two broadcasts. I'll give them both fucking Ds. That was a bit of, like, every prospect was awesome. No way they could fail. Like, apparently every fucking player is basically a combination of Kobe, Dirk, and Michael Jordan. It's like, Jesus. It's just a bit much at times, you know? But anyway, so who's left that's good? I'll give the broadcast a D. You've still got Isaiah Evans. He was the one left in the green room, which always sort of sucks. I did like that Brooklyn took Joshua Jefferson. He was up there in the stands. We were sitting next to Timothy Lualu-Cabarrot when he was drafted one year. That was pretty fun. Literally, yeah, French bloke. He was sitting he and his family were sitting next to us, and he got drafted. We're like, oh my God. It's like the fucking meme. Wait, did I get picked? Oh, no, it's Timothy Lualu-Cabarrot, not fucking dipshit Jim. It's like, do you need a really slow, shitty, can't shoot Jason Kidd clone from the 90s? I don't know. So Isaiah Evans is still there. And the way that the draft has sort of, like, all these second rounders, as I said, 4 picks in the second round remain with their original teams. And I think that has now since changed to 3. I think in the second round tomorrow, we've got New York at 55, Toronto at 50, Orlando at 46. I think before that, it was maybe Houston who might have had their remaining one, but it's only 3 now, which is absolutely crazy. So the start of the second round, you got the Knicks, Memphis, Minnesota. Minnesota who didn't have a pick in the first round. Cleveland who traded out of the first round. Denver who traded out of the first round. The Clippers, OKC again. Chicago, Houston, Boston. It'd be interesting to see if Dallas try to combine 47 and 48 and get back up closer in the second round to maybe trying to get Isaiah Evans. But I think he'll be very, very good for whoever gets him. He'd actually be great for the Knicks. But they still sort of need a big to take over the Mitch Robinson spot. Bubba Miller, Malik Thomas. There's some pretty interesting names there in that second round. So I think if you look at the remaining dudes out there, yeah, there's like also like Richie Saunders. He was not too bad. Dylan Mitchell. There's a couple of pretty interesting names. But then I think it's sort of, for me, drops off a little bit after that. So, yeah, be interesting to see how the second round goes. But I reckon we'll have a lot more, I think, sort of player movement, other sort of bits and bobs sort of popping off tomorrow. So, yeah, it should be pretty good. Interesting, huh? It's going to be good. Very fun. I am excited after all of this drafting stuff to get through the second round. What is it? June 24. We get to free agency June 30. Then the fireworks for a little bit. I don't know. The Giannis trades happen. What else is really going to go down? Don't know, but that was pretty fun. Who do I feel best about after all this? I feel really good for Memphis. I love the Boozer pick. I think them getting Kareem Lopez and getting 5 second rounders, really good draft. I like that Dallas got a different sort of wing guard late at 25 and getting Sergio Delaria. That's okay. All right. San Antonio getting a couple of bit of beef up front next to Wemby. Pretty smart. The Clippers getting Wagler. I like that. I didn't like Brooklyn's overall draft. It just leaves me just like, you think about the upside on that team and it just feels fucking non-existent. Milwaukee as well. Like Burries, I think if you've got Burries and Ament out of that draft, I think you're just adding a lot of depth and just going, right, we don't know how fucking good we're going to be, but we've got a young big, we've got a bunch of young guards. We've got Ament as well. We'll see what fucking happens. We've also still got Miles Turner, so we're going to be all right. We're going to be shit, but yeah. So good job by the Bucks, I guess. But again, just left a little bit. Atlanta getting Kingston Flemings and then Zuby. Would have preferred probably a different big, I think, for Atlanta instead of Zuby. Flemings is an interesting one because I think, yeah, like sort of the evolved CJ McCollum would be pretty interesting there. Chicago, I really wish they'd gotten a shooter instead of probably Dalen Swain. I don't know if that's like the spot you need really upgraded when you look at that Chicago team, right? Like that depth between Giddey and Trey Jones and Rob Dillingham. And if they bring back Simons or Sexton, you got Buzelis, you've got Swain, you got Caleb Wilson, you got Nick Claxton. Like, I think it's fine, but the Swain one, I'm like, oh, I just would have liked to have like another wing shooter. Just saying. Outside of that, Charlotte, that was fine. Hans Steinbach, hello, and Christian Anderson Jr. It sort of gives them a little bit more playmaking and fun depth. The Graves pick for Toronto, I really liked. Yeah. And Phylon on Philly is very, very fun. The Lakers getting a Cameron Carr, that's pretty good too. I think he'll be very, very, very handy for the Lakers and building out around Luka, but that's what you got to do when you're sort of picking, fucking 24. But there you go. That was the first round of the draft. That was all your your draft grades and everything. And that is the end of the show. What a show it was. It had everything. I reckon we'll see some more player movement over the next few days. It'll be interesting one to see how we go with the second round tomorrow. But we will wrap up the second round for you again tomorrow. So we'll do a show tomorrow, Arvo. That should be pretty fun. Go through it all, talk it all out, any other things that happen, but we'll sort of talk out where the second rounders all fit and sort of anything else, and then sort of look ahead to the free agency stuff and sort of talk out a couple of free agents before we do a big free agency off-season special at the start of next week. So should be pretty good. So we'll be back on deck tomorrow with the second round. We won't do a live stream or anything. There's no Aussies, so should be right. But anyway, in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and YouTube, of course. Get her at NFL Straya. Get her at Jim Does Supercoach. AFL Supercoach show might go up either tonight or tomorrow. Not entirely sure yet. Footy Unfiltrated. Good chat with Jez on yesterday's show. If you like your AFL, that's your one-stop shop for all things footy. Rate, review, star, subscribe to those shows across your podcast apps and YouTube. Jump on there. Jump on the notifications as well. Hit that little bell thing. Make sure you're supporting the show. You can also support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. That's where you get your exclusive fun content. At some point, we're going to do a ranking of the best NBA Australia, like this best Aussie games in the history of the NBA, which would be pretty fun. It's a big off-season one. The one that we put up there about the finals is really, really fun too. The Aura teams, love that. So go check it out. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song, They Rule. So to House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Gold Mines, Fascinator, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sextradite, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear, so smash them on your music streaming platform of choice. Buy their shit from Bandcamp. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. All right, that's it. Long show. Lots of talking. Nothing at the end of this one. We will catch you tomorrow after the second round, you dickheads. How good was the draft? I love the draft. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? Hug your mates. And later, hosen.